Who decides what age group a game is suitable for? Today the answer feels obvious. PEGI labels are everywhere. But 30 years ago, the answer was complicated, inconsistent, and sometimes didn't exist at all. Hi, I'm James. I'm a collector, or more like a hoarder, of physical media, and I just love finding out the quirky stories behind films, games, and other things here in the UK. Now, if you've been playing games as long as I have, then you'll remember when there were no ratings on games at all. Free to play whatever you like, knowing that sometimes the seal of quality from a publisher was all you needed. But video games have come a long way. As graphics improved and game content grew more mature along with its audience, the UK needed a system to help consumers, especially parents, know what's appropriate game-wise for their little darlings. So this is a brief look at how video game ratings evolved here in the UK. The tale starts with our good friends at the Video Recordings Act of 1984, which was originally designed to regulate films and video recordings. And as home computing and gaming started to grow, the definition of video recordings was expanded to include a series of images produced electronically that are contained on a disc or magnetic tape. And while video games were exempt, under certain circumstances, this definition opened the possibility of games being regulated. But although I thought games ratings kicked off in the early 90s after the likes of Night Trap and Mortal Kombat burst onto the scene, it was in fact 1986's Dracula for the Amstrad Spectrum and Commodore 64 that was the first game in the UK to receive a rating by the BBFC, getting a 15 at the time. So in those early years, other than a handful of games, most went unrated. The 1990s though saw a spike in more realistic and violent video games. And even though some games like Night Trap for the Mega CD, which was given a 15 certificate by the BBFC on the 21st of July 1993, the fact that this and games like it were video games caused a lot of media attention. Other violent games like Mortal Kombat were released with warnings from the publisher rather than receiving any kind of official age certificate. So as a result of more adult-focused games coming to market and the mounting pressure from the publicity they were attracting, BBFC-rated games became much more common, mainly focused around PC games featuring full motion video or non-interactive moments. However, not all games, even violent ones, were submitted to the BBFC for classification, as games still remained exempt. So in 1994, the VSC stepped in. The Video Standards Council, formed in 1989, was established to help retailers and the then video industry comply with the Video Recordings Act. In 1994, the VSC were asked to administer an advisory rating system for video games on behalf of the European Leisure Software Publishers Association, or as we knew it back then, ELSPA. However, and crucially, this was a UK-only voluntary age classification. So this meant publishers could choose if they wanted to submit games for an age rating. So while a more formal infrastructure for ratings now existed, it was still largely unofficial or unenforceable, and a matter of consumer advice and retail guidance than strict law. ELSPA ratings ran throughout the rest of the 90s, overseeing what was left of the 16-bit years, throughout the 32 and 64-bit era, and tipped over into the 6-console generation of Dreamcast, GameCube, PS2 and Xbox, covering all games exempt from formal BBFC ratings. It was only stronger games during this time that were subjected to the regulatory board, games such as the GTA series, Perfect Dark, War Gods. Why have I picked that? The later Mortal Kombat games, all rated by the BBFC. In 2003, the UK adopted the Pan-European Game Information System, PEGI. Under PEGI, games are assigned one of 5 age ratings, along with pictograms indicating featured themes of the game, things like violence, language, fear, drugs, etc. But this was still voluntary. And despite PEGI now used in the UK, the BBFC still rated some games. This meant a dual system. Most games got PEGI ratings, but some games were still released requiring a legal BBFC certification. This dual approach was later highlighted in the Byron Review of 2008 as causing confusion for consumers. So a simplification was proposed, move to a single statutory game rating system, eliminating this dual approach once and for all. And on the 30th of July 2012, that change took effect. From that date, the PEGI rating system, administered by the VSC, became the sole legally enforceable rating system for video games across the UK. The BBFC's role was dramatically reduced, only now responsible for games with the most extreme mature content, or for linear video works that you sometimes find as extras on your game disc. Things like behind the scenes documentaries, non-interactive cutscenes, things like that. ELSPA changed their name to the Association for UK Interactive Entertainment, or UKI, in 2010. The VSC later changed its name in 2023 to the Games Rating Authority, and continues to be the body responsible for rating games in the UK using the PEGI system. They have a great website packed with resources and a YouTube channel with videos of some of the latest game releases and the reasons for their ratings. Phew, the evolution of games age ratings has been a rocky road to say the least, but really does reflect how much games have matured and progressed so quickly in the last 40 years, and how regulators, parents and the industry responded to these changes. So today, when you see a PEGI 16 or 18 on a game box here in the UK, you're seeing the outcome of decades of change and legal reform. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Now it's over to you. I'd love to know your thoughts on rating games appropriately for audiences. What do you think of the current PEGI system? Did you like it when it was the BBFC? Or maybe in your country you have a completely different games rating system to us in the UK. Whatever your thoughts on it, let me know in the comments below. I will be reading all of them and responding as and when I can. I'll be back soon with another video about something, but until then, thanks again for watching, and remember, check the age rating before you buy.